welcome back. So are you all enjoying the session so far?
Yes, of course.
Me too. So our next session is it's on the art of elevator pitch. So, and as all of you know, our keynote speaker, Mr. Jim Beach, is going to take another session on art of elevator pitch. So he already has taken the two initial sessions. The one was on basically it was on the execution and the intuition skills. So definitely this session will be also a very exciting sessions, and we are really blessed to have Mr. Jim Beach today with us. So thank you for supporting this event and thank you for being with us. We really appreciate your time and all the efforts for this event. So it's our immense pleasure to introduce once again our next exciting session, which is the art of elevator pitch. So without wasting a single minute, because I know all of us are very excited to hear Mr. Jim Beach again. So I welcome Mr. Jim Beach once again on the dais to present the art of elevator pitch. Mr. Jim Beach, welcome back.
I've loved being here all day, and I've met some good new people and some good new friends. I do want to tell you this. It was either come here today or be at my house where my wife is having a baby shower for all of her friends. So I was like, this is a better option. I'd rather be here than in a shower at my wife's house. It would be a disaster. I didn't want to be there. But I've had a great time today, and I really appreciate the wonderful reception that you've all given me. And I hope to get in contact with all of you. Please reach out on LinkedIn, and I hope to get to know all of you and help any of you that I can, and hope to get some help from some of you and help with businesses all around. And I've just had a really fun day. Normally when I'm at an event like this, I leave. I speak and leave. And the fact that I didn't leave today is shocking to me because I was having a good time. And good food too. I thought the lunch was great. So I've just enjoyed getting to know you. This is my favorite speech. Of all the speeches I have, and I give over 100 different speeches, this is my absolute favorite. And it'll be interesting for you to see how well you know America. This speech is sort of like a how well do you know America test. Some of you might not know any of the references I'm about to do, but it won't make a difference. You'll still understand the point. But there's lots of American cultural references in here. I want you to know I paid someone in India to translate this speech into an Indian cultural test. And I was thinking about doing that, but I was afraid because that version was designed for college students. And I think for you it might be a little bit risque and dirty, and I didn't want to do that here. So I'm going to do the American version, but if anyone wants to see the Indian version, I have that as well, and then you can write back and tell me how dirty it is. So I gave the speech in front of a bunch of Indian kids, college students, and they were laughing hysterically. They were laughing too hard. You know, when they laugh too hard, you know you've gone maybe over the line. And so I didn't want to do that here today, but we'll see what happens. So many things that we do, we have to give a pitch, right? When do we need to give a pitch? We need to give a pitch to get a job, right? To raise venture capital, to raise angel funds, to sell something. I'm trying to sell something, so I have to pitch it to you. And us men, we have to use a pitch to get a date, right? So all of these things that we use, a simple 30 seconds. You have 30 seconds to make yourself attractive to somebody and get them interested in you. And so that's what I want to try to do, is to give you a framework for a 30-second pitch that will get you these two things. You want to be remembered. At the end of the day, the person in the elevator has to go home and say, you're not going to believe the idea that I heard today, blah, blah, blah. Can you explain it in 30 seconds? I have a meeting tomorrow with someone. We talked on the phone last week. It took them 30 minutes to explain what their business does. That's ridiculous. I mean, how long did I listen? Like 2 minutes, and after that I put the phone on the table and started doing other work while I was on mute, right? You can't do that. You have 30 seconds to explain to someone what you do. And so will you be remembered? And even more importantly, number 2, is it sexy enough that they go, that's interesting, tell me more about that. or they have a follow-up question. I predict this, that if they have a follow-up question, they're going to end up buying from you. Okay? So that's our goal, is these two things. Number one, to be remembered, and number two, to evoke some sort of follow-up question. So here are, we're going to have a bunch of songs today. I'm not going to do all 14 because I know we're running out of time. But we're going to go through a bunch of these songs. These will all be good models for your elevator pitch. So who is this? Anyone recognize this person? Lady Gaga, right? Okay, our young table's up here on the front. Recognize Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga is sort of like Madonna. You all know Madonna, right?
Yeah, back here we know.
Yeah, the back, that's right. We're going to have, it'll be interesting. The back of the room will know the old one. These two tables are going to know the two youngsters, right? What did Madonna do when she started her career? Remember she came out with the song Like a Virgin?
Yeah.
Remember that song? This person, this artist did the same thing. When she was nominated for a Grammy Award, she showed up in this dress. You can't tell in this picture, but that dress is made out of meat cutlets. Pieces of meat. Her entire dress was made out of meat. And then a couple of weeks later, she showed up at another award ceremony in an egg. And she had people with sticks carrying her in on an egg. Right? Why did she do stuff like that? To be shocking, new, and provocative. So our first template is to be shocking, new, provocative. And we can see that all sorts of places. Let's see if we can listen to the song that she did. It should be, it's playing now. Ooh, maybe the volume is off. I didn't think about turning my volume off. That was stupid of me. Back full screen. Okay, so let's try this again. Here we go. So I heard of Lady Gaga and I didn't like her because she was stupid and crazy in a meat dress, right? A lot of us old people will say that. But then one day I was in the car driving and I heard this song with my daughter. And I was like, I can dance to this. I like this song. This is good. And I asked my daughter, who is this? My daughter said, that's Lady Gaga, Daddy. God, you don't know anything. But you know what? I liked Lady Gaga. But she became famous to me first because she was provocative and compelling. So we see that in the media all the time. When you watch American news, I'm sure they do this in India too, we have shocking new details. They've done a study that we're going to release tonight. Details at 11. And what does 11 o'clock really mean? It really means 11:29, right? They make you watch all of the fires, the rapes, the murders, the sports, the weather, and then they come out and say, we have a shocking new report. It turns out that if you drink all of the chemicals underneath your sink, you're going to die. You know, I knew that. You tricked me. You tricked me. I don't like the way you're playing this game. And so that's a great template. You already know about my summer camps, right? So here is the very first elevator pitch proposition that we used. We offer computer summer camps. Well, that's interesting. I've never heard of computer camp. I've heard of horseback camp and swimming camp and tennis camp and sports camp and outdoor camping camp, but computer camp, that's pretty new and different. And when we did this, no one else was really doing this at the national level. But now you see it everywhere. You've heard of Lego Mindstorm Camp, Minecraft Camp, Robotics Camp. We started every single one of those. But at the time, new was shocking, compelling. Computer Camp, who the hell would want to go to that, right? Well, 14,000, 15,000 kids in summer would want to go to it. Model number 2, who is this? No one knows who this is. I bet you know the song, though. You know Leonard Skinner's Stairway to Heaven? This is a different song. This is Simple Man. The idea is simple. Be a simple man. And so that's the theme here, right? And here's some of the words. Be a simple man, someone that you can love and understand. The words are so appropriate. Love the elevator pitch and understand the elevator pitch in only 30 seconds. And we see this in the American culture all of the time, right? The easy mortgage, the easy weight loss program. Our program is so easy you don't even have to change what you eat. It's so simple. And one of the favorite things is all American girls, when they're 8 or 9, get an Easy Bake Oven. Did any of y'all have an Easy Bake Oven? No, none of you know that product? Get an 8 or 9-year-old girl Christmas gift. Usually Santa Claus brings it, right? And the Target Easy Button. Have you seen the Target? Not Target. Staples. Exactly. Thank you. The Easy Button. So anything that's easy has got to be great. And I used this the second year of our computer camp. I didn't tell you this, but our computer camp went from 8 o'clock in the morning until 9 o'clock at night for a day student. Not an overnight student. We had overnight and day. Why would someone want to have a camp that goes until 9 o'clock at night? Well, what time does normal camp end? 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So that means I still have to quit work at 2 o'clock and go pick the kid up. And then what do I do with the kid from 2 until 5? Right? Our camp is so easy. You can work a full day, go out to dinner, see a movie with your wife, and pick the kid up on the way home from your date. The kid falls asleep in the car, you carry the kid in and throw it in bed. That's how easy I will make your summer. And the parents loved this, loved it, absolutely loved it, because it makes the entire experience just so easy for you, right? So easy is a model number 2. Can you use that to tell me how easy you're going to make my life? The easy tax preparation service, the easy marketing plan that we offer, the easy finance system that we offer. Any of those I'm going to want to buy as an American, because what are Americans? Lazy. You're not going to deny it or argue with me on that, are you? All right. Does anyone who know who this is? This is one of America's most infamous stories. Not a single one of you know this one? Milli Vanilli? Oh, we have one American here. You don't count, John. So this band won a Grammy Award in the 90s, the early 90s. And a couple of months later, it came out that they did not sing on their own album. They didn't sing. The reason they were selected was because I think of their hair, how good their hair was. But it turned out to be the biggest example in American history of dishonest marketing. They didn't even sing on their album, but they won an award for singing. But they weren't the ones singing. They had studio people sing. And so what I want to talk about here is trust. There are so many examples of how we use statistics to lie about trust. This t-shirt is one of my favorite examples. 70% of all statistics are made up. Right? You're using a statistic to tell me that statistics are made up, right? And I want to tell you the story about the 3 bass guitars. So I was hired to help a company build a guitar business. And you know what a Stradivarius violin is? The $1 million violins from, I think, 1740. Stradivarius was alive, and he built violins that today cost millions of dollars. This guitar company was going to build the Stradivarius of guitars. And I helped write the business plan and everything. And in the first year, their goal was to build 3 guitars. That's how good they were going to be. And so they raised the money and they started business and they built a factory and they started building and everything. And I saw them give a business presentation a year after I helped the company. And the CEO stood up and said, "We have had a great year. We only missed our goal by 3 units." Which you and I would call 100%. We only missed our goal by 100%. Right? What was he able to do here? He was able to lie using numbers. And we can do that a lot. Our revenue tripled. We had $1,000 revenue the first year, and in the second year we had $3,000 of revenue. Right? Means absolutely nothing. So we have to create other ways to establish credibility. Some way to establish trust. I've already shown you this poster. Imagine getting that poster in the mail as validation for our camps, right? I run computer summer camps at MIT and Stanford, sponsored by Intel and Microsoft. If I tell you that as a parent, do you have any doubt about the validity of this business? No, you don't. Because I have wrapped myself in so many brand names that are so powerful that you don't care. Almost every business I've ever run, I've played this trick. I go out there and find partners that validate my business. So the dental business that I'm running right now, I have two partners. Heartland Dental, which is the largest dental practice in the world. They have hundreds, about 1,000 dentists that work for them. That's one of my partners. And the other one is LED Dental, which is the second largest supply company in the United States for dental supplies. Those are my partners. Do you want to do business with me now? They do. Why the hell wouldn't you want to do business with me? Right? I've validated my business by using my partnerships, my relationships with other people. That's how you establish trust. Number 4, who's this?
Aerosmith?
Aerosmith, not Mick Jagger. Close though. You might know this song. You know this song, Sweet Emotion? Does any of you recognize this? Not even my front tables? He was one of the judges for American Idol a couple years ago. And doesn't he look like he's got a lot of emotion there? Just look at his neck. His neck is about to explode. And these veins in his hands are going to explode. Blood all over the place, right? But emotion will sell something. Do you ever remember seeing this ad on television late at night? This is about the Save the Pets thing, right? And the song starts off, Sarah McLachlan there, she comes on, the music in the background sounds like this. And Sarah McLachlan goes, this pet is about to be killed. If you don't send $19 right now, I'm going to kill this pet. And you're like, I'm so guilty. If I don't send money, I'm going to feel like a horrible person. This is the exact opposite of what we want to do with emotion. What we want to do is this. This was my value proposition year 4. And this is why my business was so successful. Listen to this. Parents, what would you do if someone said this? I take kids that are not on the football team, they're not cheerleaders, they're not the most popular kid in school, and I make them happy for the first time. That's all I do. What would you pay to make your kids happy? Imagine this. You're an unhappy kid. Your parents know it. I was a miserable kid. I was a dork, loser, computer dork as a kid. I hated life. My parents knew that I hated life. I would come home crying a lot of days. I got picked on all the time. What would you pay to make that go away for your kid? I'll tell you, $916 a week. You'll pay anything to make that pain go away for your kid. And you see the ad, it's at MIT and Stanford, it's sponsored by Intel and Microsoft, and you call and say, well, my child is, a little bit, and the mother would hesitate. And we would go, your child is a little bit shy and not particularly happy, and they have social problems. And the mother would go, yes, we will make that problem go away. We're going to make your kid happy. What was the next question we would ask? What's your credit card number? Because I know that kid. Remember earlier we were talking about figuring out who your customer is? An unhappy kid was my customer. And I actually did that. We actually did make them happy. We would find them a best friend. We would teach them that you know what the coolest thing in the world is? Smart. And smart ends up being called boss. And you're that person. We give the kid a whole new level of confidence. And that's why our program exploded around the world, because we were able to make these kids happy. You see how powerful this is? I'm appealing to the emotional strings of the mother. I'm making the mother almost cry on the telephone. And we did have mothers cry on the telephone. But cry because they knew how good things were going to be. All right, who's this? The table in back, y'all should know this one. Who's this? Oh, come on, you're letting me down. You're disappointing me. Johnny Cash. We don't have any country western music. Y'all even heard of Johnny Cash?
Yeah.
Yeah, Folsom Blues, Folsom Blues and Blues. Here's another one of
Well,
his
the day
most famous
left home
songs.
when I was 3 and he didn't leave much to Mom and me, just this old guitar and an empty bottle of booze. Now, I don't blame him because he run and hid, but the meanest thing that he ever did
Listen right here.
was before he left, he went and named me Sue.
So a daddy was a drunk, and he ran off and left the family abandoned. But the meanest thing that he ever did was name the boy Sue, which is a girl's name. Why would he do that? So the boy would get beaten up in school and get toughened up and turn into a tough man. But country western music is one thing. It's always a story. The song is a story, and that's why we listen to country music, because it tells the story. This particular story, we could have chosen any Johnny Cash song or any country western song because it's a story. Because all I know is this. Today when you go home, you won't remember a lot of the points that I made, but you'll remember 2 or 3 of the stories for the rest of your life. You'll remember those stories forever because we remember stories. I went to high school here in Atlanta. I graduated May 18th, 1985. The speaker of my graduation was the president of the University of Georgia. I have no clue what he talked about. I have no clue what his thesis was. But he told a story about a man who went to the beach, saw a shark, got so afraid of the shark that he ran back and hid in his car and smoked cigarettes. And the president said, "Isn't that ironic? He had 0% chance of getting killed by the shark, but 100% chance that the cigarettes or the car would kill him." I remember that story 30 years later. I don't know what the thesis was, but I know the story, right? And I promise you, you will remember stories that you heard today better than you will remember some of the points we were making. And where's the young man? I don't see him. The young man who came up and gave the speech about thrombosis today, right? He and his father came up to me and were like, "What advice would you give my son on his speech?" And I was like, "I'd give your speech an A." But you know what? There was no story about it. If you had said, "Let me tell you the story about someone who died from thrombosis," we would remember that better, wouldn't we? Is it my fault?
Let me see if it's my